Hey everyone, Porsche Racer 14 here, and I thought I'd share a pretty wild and definitely, I thought, an interesting replay. This is going to be a little bit different because it was just a brutal fest. It's tier 10 for the most part. You got Montanas, you got Yamatos out there. Zhaos, Des Moines, Gearing, Shimikazes, Hindenburgs. I mean, you got everything out there. So, I'm not going to really commentate too much on this one. I'm going to let the action speak for itself. So, I just went down for a flyby here of our team. Just to give you the grand scale and scope of this is just a brutal match. In fact, it is just pretty much solid battleships. Actually, there weren't even any destroyers, no carriers. Yeah, it was just cruisers and battleships. Oh no, there was a few destroyers, but yeah, mostly battleships. Like a lot. I think there's 6 on either side. It was one hell of a match, and considering that there's so many battleships, we knew there wasn't going to be any screening, and as soon as somebody got detected, it was just going to be all in. You know, slam those cards on the table. That's it. Push the chips in. Everybody's all in, and that's what it was. But thankfully, I wasn't in the lead, so that was awesome. So my buddy Orion, he's out in his Yamato, and yeah, he's taking the lead there. Richard Wraith, he's out in his Yamato, and I'm out in my Montana. Got to do something different. So, yeah, you'll hear some things like, yeah, main turret damage. Yeah, look at that. If there's any devs out there, every frickin' match, look at that. First salvo comes in, bam, turret damage. Well, I mean, at least it wasn't destroyed. There is something wrong with the armor rating, or how it's interpreted on this thing, because I always lose turrets on that thing. Worse than North Carolina, or worse than I. But anyways, that's off another tangent. So we got Orion there in the lead. He is taking the brunt of everything. We got our other guys coming up there trying to be a little more cautious. It was, yeah. Oh, and a side note, I'm using a Slane's mod. Now, one of the things about that mod, you can have different colors for your shells. And so if you see red shells, that's high explosive. Blue shells are armored piercing. Kind of a cheat, I know. Kind of breaks away from the immersion on it. But it's handy. And, ooh, what was that? That's not a battleship, that's a Zhao! Now take note, he had just launched 10 super fast torpedoes at that closer range. I mean, that thing is crazy. And I realize what just happened. So I'm trying to put everything I can into that Zhao. And guess what? No matter what you got, you can't one-shot a Zhao through the front. And of course, I gotta wait for the reload. And he's turning around on the other side, and the secondaries are so weak on the Montana. I mean, finally he gets it, but he's still got a salvo off. And guess what? This thing doesn't churn much. That looks like torpedoes. I'm barely holding on here. But holy crap! I got a Citadel on a Yamato! That was too much. I mean, on those kinds of matches, it doesn't matter if the Tirpitz is tier 8. It's got torpedoes. That's always the game changer in this. So, as we go over the cinematic view on this, I'll comment on a little bit of the game changer. Now, this was one heck of a rare match. You hardly ever see that many battleships. This was way early in the morning. We were definitely drinking and having fun playing games. And playing tier 10, because honestly, you play anything else at that late on the North American server, you know you're facing Yamatos and Montanas and Zaos and whatever else. So you might as well bring a tier 10. Or maybe something like the Iowa or whatever. Or in this case, the Tirpitz, because it has torpedoes. I mean, it's a game changer. It's got pretty decent armor. It's hard to Citadel unless you catch it in a turn and get underneath that water line into the hull. But yeah, so things like that. The Zao, it has torpedoes. Game changer. I mean, yeah, the Zao got wrecked, but look at the damage he did. Took out a Yamato and pretty much took out a Montana. That's just something that the Des Moines can't. It can't change the tide of battle. I mean, it can whittle you down. You can't ignore it. That's for sure. But if you need to get in there and take out how many battleships, I mean, it is just devastating. Oh, and there's Wraith there in his Yamato. He's trying to do the hide and go peek. I don't think it's working out too well. Because the other Yamato there is... he's eyeing up that bow. Where it's... yeah, right underneath there. And I know he's trying to back up there, but that is just... the other Yamato plays some good shots. But those secondaries, I mean, look at this, the range on that. It's just unreal. Unreal. And of course, you know, Shimakaze gearing. The torpedo systems on them are really good, especially the Shimmy. It's just brutal. If that thing stays stealth up, it's hard. It's hard. Very, very hard to counter. Especially when you're battleship heavy. The only chance you got is other destroyers in there, and like of course the gearing. You can counter it if it gets in there, if it's allowed to get in there and hunt it. And maybe the Des Moines, Hindenburg. Again, it has to get in there and find it, which also makes it, you know, they're soft, they're squishy. But when you got cruisers that have torpedoes, I mean, you'd be surprised if it parks himself, if it works with a destroyer. You know, if it's able to get into some smoke, work the islands well. And if it goes unchecked, like there, it just runs in and it's got torpedoes. I mean, the Zao knew he was going to die, but he did a lot of damage in a short amount of time just because it has torpedoes, and that's something a Des Moines can never do. German cruisers, they got torpedoes for the most part. Some of the Russian ones do. Again, it's torpedoes because there's no RNG involved. Torpedoes, they go exactly as their stats say, which I have nothing against. But Um, Definitely, it's a game changer. Now, I love like my Cleveland, and I tried moving past that, and I got stuck at the. Or hold on, I'll say it in the native tongue, the Nolans. I can't do it. It's New Orleans. But I just got stuck there because it's so average. It's so mediocre. It doesn't excel at one thing. Yeah, it's got radar. It's definitely pretty interesting what radar does. It's pretty cool. But I'm stuck there. The range is short. The HE is it's okay. But I don't think it offers really any value to me at higher tier. After seeing the Zao in action, that thing is just... And it's got torpedoes. I mean, really fast torpedoes that do a ton of damage. Nice spreads. It just... And on too many of these matches, it's always a game changer. Like, I fear a Zao coming straight at me. And if I can't get it, if RNG isn't good, or whatever, dispersion, whatever you want to call it, and I can't take it out in one salvo, and he's able to close the distance, obviously, and get off torpedoes, and I can't dodge him in time, I'm going to be taking some massive damage. Or just get sunk. I mean, what use is that? So, definitely at the higher tiers, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, this might be a repeat of some others. It's hard to play Battleship at high tiers. So much cost involved. You're such a liability to the team. And you're only there to counter the other battleship, maybe, and try to stop him. Everybody's like, oh, they're great at deleting cruisers. Sure, if you allow them to get in real close. Maybe you can one-shot them. Maybe you can do some damage. But for the most part, at distance, at range, you're just wasting your volleys. So what do? You have to close distance, you know. A lot of these maps, they got islands, they hide behind, which, I mean, I would. I don't want to get one-shotted or take massive damage. So, and you're launching HE over something that you can't see, you can't get to with your battleship guns, and it's definitely tough. Now this was interesting after seeing, because I was like, oh, what happened to this guy? I know we spotted him. But he's okay. Maybe he doesn't see the torpedoes? He's worried about the gunfire coming in? But that one lowly torpedo, he sees, he overcorrects, and just, yeah, okay, we'll take it. Good job on our Fubuki. I believe those are Fubuki torpedoes, I could be wrong. Whoever's torpedoes that was, wow, lucky. And I believe that was our Des Moines? I can't remember. Might have been or New Orleans. One of those ships. Or Baltimore. Again, it got struck by torpedoes. It just couldn't recover. And of course, battleships. Shooting is going to clean it up. But other than that, he wasn't taking much damage because he was able to churn and shift. So sometimes it's it's really, really tough. I mean, this guy, yeah, he's getting pelted. He's bouncing shots for the most part. But there's a destroyer out there, and it's gonna cause him either take damage or make him churn and show broadside and take damage. So, of course, this guy, he never sees the torpedoes until, you know, the last seconds or whatever. HE is devastating. And even if he only takes a few of these, he just burned off his repair to put that fire out, and ouch. Yeah, could be flooding, could not be, but how do you plan your actions? You got torpedoes incoming and just, yeah. Not too good. I believe that's their Otago. Yep. HE. And that's the other thing in a battleship. You just, yeah. A lot of these ships can ghost fire. I mean, this guy isn't here, but when you're getting pelted by high explosive and getting set on fire tons and tons of times, and then trying to avoid torpedoes, it's tough. You definitely need a team in front of you, and that's the hardest thing to get some days. You know, if your DDs rush in there and get melted, you get nobody screening ahead of you. I mean, even cruisers get caught up in Ishimi's torpedoes, or Fubuki, or whatever stealth torping. It's tough. But anyways, I thought this was a pretty fun and interesting replay, so that's why I kind of did it in this cinematic view. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's Porsche Racer 14 signing out. We'll catch you on the high seas. Later, everyone.